The crisp first monster of the day. So good morning, guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Labor Day today at the time of filming this. I just got back last night from Utah, so we were up there for a couple of days, for like almost a week. So we got guest listed by Kenda Tires to go up and just, you know, experience Formula Drift Utah. I've never been to Utah, so that was a very cool experience for me. That was my fourth Formula Drift round I've attended. Love it. Like, Formula Drift is just one of those really cool things that you should experience if you like cars at all. But as a drifter myself, obviously, I just think it's really, really neat to watch. We got to experience the track walk, which is where they let you walk on the track. They kind of use a couple drivers as your tour guides per se, so you can just ask them a bunch of questions. So I chose to talk and walk with Corey Talaska. He is a Pro Spec driver who happens to also have an E36, although his is a little bit different than mine. His is a touge swap and like 750 horsepower. But nonetheless, it puts into perspective just how hard these dudes got to throw these cars around. That track specifically is gnarly. My car, I don't think could even, I mean, I could link the track, I just couldn't do it any sort of competitive way. I need double my power. But anyways, today we got some prep work to do. I need to get my car ready for my event, which is back in Utah at the end of this week. So today's Monday, I got till Wednesday. The goal for today, because my welding bottle is kaput, I got a bad bottle and everybody's closed today, so goal for today is I got to swap my door mechanisms over. Because my window doesn't work. I realize Utah has weather, whereas Arizona doesn't. So we don't see an ounce of rain but once a year for 10 minutes. And Utah, I don't want to be driving the car, you know, on the trailer and have it start downpouring. So that's a concern of mine. So I'm going to try and swap all the old door guts into the new door because they're just different. It's a funky model year difference. So assuming that goes halfway decent, the other thing I got to do is I'm going to put the sway bar back on because my car is really gripped up right now, and I'm also a little bit going to be down on a decent bit of power because of the elevation difference. Arizona, we're sitting right around 1700-ish, give or take, and where I'm at and where we're going to be driving in Utah is going to be a little over somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 feet. So I'm going to have the tune adjusted once we get there. Thursday, we get there Thursday night. Friday, I'm gonna have my tuner try and do a little bit of work remotely and get that going. And hopefully that's gonna be enough to put us up for the weekend pretty good. So I just ordered tires. Unfortunately, like I said, you know, Kenda wasn't able to hook it up. So that was $1,100 at cost for 5 pairs of tires, so 10 tires total. I don't know if that's going to be enough for the day. We'll just have to find out. I mean, I've got 2 on the car that I can run right now. We'll see. It's a lot going on. So now I'm going to just try and get this sway bar put on. Now, basically what the sway bar does in a drifting sense, if you don't know how sway bars work, obviously it ties the suspension together left to right, layman's terms. And with the drifting, it makes the car a little bit more predictable, a little less hooked up, because that one corner that you're on the outside tire isn't as hooked up because, you know, whatever. The point of the sway bar is, you know, obviously when the sway bar is on, the suspension's tied together. Without the sway bar, like right now, I'm having a little bit of scrubbing issue, and I think it's because the big sidewall on these Advantas that I'm running. So the tires I ordered are Kendas, the ones that I prefer to run when I have the extra money. Definitely don't have the money right now, but I know on this road I'd rather have a good, consistent tire, which the Advanta is, but the soft sidewall leaves me with a little more to be desired, where the Kenda is pretty much perfect for me. So had to buy, or, you know, pay a little bit extra in this sense. But yeah, with the sway bar attached, it makes the car a little bit less grippy, which is in this case good. I can dial it in a little bit with toe, which I already have my alignment all set in the back, and then like dampening on the suspension and such. But adding the sway bar is going to let the car be a little bit more predictable, a little easier to drive, because being on a mountain road, I don't want to have to be fighting the car a bunch. And then also with the banked curves, like the cambered transitions and stuff, I've heard that it's much easier to drive those with the sway bar, whereas the one tire is not all sucked up and super gripped up, because then you'll straighten out or it could yank you, whatever. So yeah, let's get this thing worked on. Something else I'm going to do, just in the short term, more of an experiment than anything, and also for the noise, is I'm going to chop out my blow-off valve section here. I just, I don't know, I was talking to a couple of Turbo E36 guys while I was in Utah, and none of them run blow-off valves for their drift cars. Now, I can't do that today because my welding bottle is contaminated. Brand new bottle, barely used any of it. And yeah, it's got moisture in it or something. So I was working the other day trying to do some wheel repairs, trying to build this wheel back, and just been fighting for my life. So I can't do that today. But right now, like I said, sway bar, and then the other thing we got to do is try and switch the door stuff around, because I don't have a functioning window on this side because this door is a 92 model year, I think. Basically all the window stuff is different, the way it mounts is different. Just kind of a bummer. But yeah, last time you saw this, well actually no, I didn't even put it in the video. So if you saw my little YouTube short, you would have saw we did the T51R mod on the compressor. So big shout out to DJ. He was, you know, he was the one that paid for that. So the turbo is a lot louder now, which the idea behind the T51R mod is solely just wow factor. This thing sounds like an absolute jet engine now when it's spooling. So that's gonna be sweet. Have the jet engine spool noises with the shoo-doo-doo noises of the lack of a blow-off valve. It's gonna sound really good. So yeah, anyway, sway bar, pretty easy. I'm missing a freaking nut, unfortunately, so I gotta dig through a parts bin. But yeah, these ones are kind of tedious because of where these end links mount. So on these, it's easier. Pop the wheels off really quick and then drop the shock, like unbolt it from the trailing arm, and then it just sags and then you can tuck it up there. Kind of a pain, but you know, it is what it is. Sway bar is good to go. Even with the wheels off and the suspension drooping, it's still kind of tedious. I wonder if they make a quick release setup. I'm gonna have to look into that, but for now, we're good on that part. So now I gotta start trying to tear this door apart. We kind of tore it apart a little bit before to get the window down in the first place, so I'm a little, you know, forgetful on how any of it even goes, but I can't get any worse. I already don't have a window, so if I don't have a window even further, I mean, I'm not any worse off than I was. So I guess the worst I can do is just start throwing wrenches at it and see what happens. I didn't realize we already did all the hard work on this door, but being this was an earlier model door, this had rivets holding everything in. So you can see like the indentations of where like the motor and all the rest of the assembly goes. And if we look at this door, we can see this one was all bolted in as compared to the rivets. So ideally, I think the door skins are pretty much identical. So that's what I'm hoping for. The window obviously is already in place. I just pulled it up by hand. So I'm going to try and pull this harness through because the harness connection was different as well. Well, the plug was the same, the pin out was different. So yeah, I'm going to just see if I can kind of get this all bolted up. Honestly, it should work. Hopefully. If it doesn't, I'm going to just super glue something to the window like a strap and pull that thing up by hand as I need to. Because I really only need the window up for the travel and transport aspect of it because, yeah, I don't want rain getting in here. Not all over our very nice Prisma Ultra seats, so you can get 5% off if you use code VIBE5. But yeah, nonetheless, let's figure this out. I'm giving up on this door. I've been fighting with this damn thing for well over an hour. The window motor works, but for no reason at all is nothing going up and down. Like, I can test it, I can kind of get things to move a little bit, but just in general, this thing is just jammed. So I'm saying, absolutely fuck it. I'm gonna just hot glue something along the top of the window, like a strap of some sort. I do not care. This car is getting thrown away within the next, you know, year anyway. I'm gonna just burn this thing into a, you know, run it into a wall and slap the drivetrain in a new shell because I'm picking up a new shell here soon. I'm just losing my mind over this thing if you can't tell. So I'm gonna just, yeah, rip this thing out, call it a day, and glue something up top here. And that's gonna have to be good enough for me. I hate window regulators. That is the biggest kryptonite of mine on any car. I don't know why. I am just beyond bad with window motors. Anything inside the door, I don't have the patience for it, and I absolutely don't understand it, and I've never actually successfully changed a window motor on anything. So you know, I guess it's not changing today. I'm gonna go ahead, finish taking this apart, which is even more frustrating because these things are realistically pretty simple. You have the one bolt here, you got 4 pieces of hardware that hold the motor on, and then it like gets stuck in the track, which in this case, this is the issue. Yeah, is this plastic guide down here, it just doesn't want to move. I tried greasing it, like I tried doing whatever I could. It's just not working. This is pretty much as simple as it gets. It's just hanging over the side. Obviously it's strapped here on the inside, so we're just using some really heavy duty glue and hopefully that'll work. Obviously the idea is to be able to just pull the window up and down. It's never going to be perfect just because the motor isn't there to help guide it. The tracks are in place, but it's never going to be perfect. But again, it's only temporary till we end up doing the new chassis, which I don't even know that I'm going to run windows in the new chassis, so I don't know. I'll have to figure it out because I just want to shave a lot of weight on the new car anyway and then simplify things. So I'd like to figure out a way to make some sort of Lexan window because I also am not going to have the whole door. I think I'm going to have upper portion of the door cars, but I think I'm going to cut the lower half just so I can get the door bars to go like out like NASCAR style. So this won't be forever. All right, this video is going to be a little bit short-lived because the window stuff was a little bit more, like I mentioned, difficult and anticlimactic than I thought. So something else we got to do to get prepped for this is the safety equipment on this event is pretty, you know, in-depth for good reason. Obviously we're driving on the side of a mountain and this is all equipment that I'm going to need regardless because I do plan on competing next year and at all levels of competition other than like maybe your local, you know, tandem comp or something. They are going to require a lot of this. So obviously we have our helmet, but we need a Hans device. I do have a fire suit. I'm just not going to put that on right now for you because it's a little annoying to get in and out of. So I do have this very, very nice next-gen Hans device. Now this thing definitely was not cheap. So this is all full carbon fiber. And this thing's freaking dope, not gonna lie. I'm stoked on it. I just wish it was a little bit more affordable in the moment because this thing, even with like a partial sponsored discount, this thing was still $600. So I'm a little anxious about that. But we got it. We don't have to buy another one realistically for quite a long time. These things are certified for 5 years, but you can get Hans devices recerted if need be. And there is somebody local to Arizona that does that, so that is not a problem at all. Now, basically what the Hans device does is in this particular instance, so this one is like a backpack style. You basically put it on just like this, just like that. And then you have your little straps here, got your buckle, and it looks cool. You look, you know, like you're about to whoop some butt, maybe go tackle somebody. But what this does is, you see here, these little buckles. So these have some straps here, these things, and these attach to your helmet. And what the device does is, the Hans in itself is more just these big shoulder pads up here that you can see. So what it does is it attaches to your helmet and it stops your neck from overextending. So in the event of, like, say, you know, normal driving, normal road racing, you hit something, your body, you're strapped in with your harnesses, your neck, you know, an object in motion stays in motion. So your neck is going to be the only thing that's not attached to something. So your neck is going to extend forward. You know, it can obviously sever, what is it? You basically sever your spinal cord, your neck from your spinal cord. So there's a reason for it, and it's not just to look like a football player in a race car. It's to keep your head physically attached to your body. So kind of scary, but nonetheless, you know, I digress. These things are pretty simple. I forget what date, but pretty much as I understand it, any helmet past like 2017 is going to have this. Now you have these M6 riv nuts right here. I'll focus up on you. There's one on each side of the helmet. Now normally these are probably going to be filled with a rubber plug. I removed mine because I lost the one and just took the other one out. So these are as simple as, you know, just screwing them in. So this does come with some hardware, and we're just going to screw these things in, and then we're just going to test fit it. It should just kind of automatically limit it. Like, I don't think there's any adjustments on these things per se. But just figured we'd set this up on camera for you guys so you could see, and then I could either make a fool of myself or we could get some content out of it. So either way is a win in my book. Yeah, pretty much straightforward. Let's do this. So they do have these little red pull tags here. This is to help pull these things out, because these things are supposed to hook onto the helmet, whatever. Now I got it locked. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, I figured it out. just hard to do it one-handed when it's not actually attached. So inside of here, not that it's going to focus, hands are very dirty, but you see that? If I pull that, it unlocks that. So that way where you're strapped in, you can just quickly pull it and disconnect your helmet. Should be easy. So now that we got that figured out, these are not labeled left and right. So I'd imagine, well, the straps have to be down. So they are kind of, you know, self-explanatory in that instance. So in this case, I know that this is going to be my left one. So we'll do this. And the bolt does have the machined head in there. So the bolt sits in there nice like that. This has to rotate that way. So you need it so that way the clip is facing down, and then you can easily pull your device like that. Let's see if we can get this set up. So pretty much just like that. That's my helmet buckle, wherever this thing went. I actually read the diagram now, and you got to tilt these things back a little bit because it was just putting a little too much strain, so I couldn't move as comfortably as I would like. So now it sits like that, so that way you can pull the tab down and then the angle of the clip goes in kind of diagonal. Helps when you read the instructions. Well, there we go. This thing is extremely, I don't say uncomfortable, because it's like just sitting here, it's fine. Like you don't hardly, obviously you feel the helmet, but I am a neck stretcher person. I like to sit on grid and I like to, you know, roll my neck around. This obviously sure as hell doesn't let you do that. So it's going to take some getting used to. The lack of movement definitely makes me anxious. And then something else that we have to wear is arm restraints. So that essentially does the same thing. So those go in with the harness. They mount with the buckle. So show you how to do this really quick. This red strap, sorry, red tab, pull it, lean forward, disconnects it. Same over here. There we go. Pretty easy. But yeah, so the Hans device, definitely weird. Gonna have to get some seat time getting used to this thing because it makes me anxious. So we have these arm restraints. Now I got some Sparco branded ones because they were affordable and available to me right away. So basically this just goes, you have this hoop here. This literally just straps in with your lap belts on the buckle, and then it's kind of just got like a little normal strap like this right here. And all that does is just limits how high your arms can go, so that way in the case of a rollover or an accident, your arms can't fly kind of out of the air, out the window, especially in the event of a rollover. Particularly, your arms aren't going to be flailing and go out the window and get crushed, because that is a very real thing. So yeah, lots and lots of safety equipment, very awkward, very expensive. This is the most expensive event I've done thus far. I mean, I'm not even there yet, and I'm already probably about $4 grand or so in. I mean, let's kind of add this up really quick. Partially sponsored Hans device was $600. Fire suit was $1,400. Arm restraints were $60. Gloves, SFI gloves are another $80. Airbnb was about $650. The truck rental was about $360. Entry was $650. Tires were about $1,200, and that's even at cost with Alex hooking it up and not even charging me for the install. So yeah, I'd say we're about $5 grand in, and I'm not even at the mountain yet. So that's still not accounting for food and fuel, and Lord forbid any broken parts. So yeah, in over my head a little bit on this event, and I don't know how I'm gonna make the money back on this one. This one is just mostly for marketing, and it kind of sucks. Like, again, a big expense of this specific event is the safety equipment costs. Some people already have this stuff because they already compete, because obviously a lot of these drivers are going to be quite skilled and quite competent, because they don't want to just put any willy-nilly random Joes, you know, on the mountain because it's a big liability, and they don't want nobody to crash or wreck or anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I'm going to go cry about how much I just tallied up and figure out how to sell my Integra quicker, so that way I can make some money back to pay for everything. So if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, you know, hit that subscribe button. And if you're local to Arizona, you'd like some fab work, be sure to reach out to me at VelocityRaceFab on Instagram, Facebook, or through email at velocityracefab@yahoo.com. Anyways, guys, do what you love. Forget about the rest. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.